Hi, I'm Katrina, your Pilates teacher at KN Pilates. Today we will take a look at toe taps, a few do's and don'ts, what to look out for, and then a few variations of toe taps as well. So let's begin. Good, so for toe taps we come into supine, and whether you follow along or just watching the video, so we just want to, as always, find neutral spine and pelvis if we are actually doing this. And then we're just going to, so with our toe taps, what are we trying to do? We're trying to move the leg, which is just challenging our core stability, our ability to keep our rib-hip connection in neutral, whilst using our centering and our breath. So it's all coming together. So even though it looks like it's an exercise to move the leg, it's not about this leg that's moving, it's about everything that's staying still. And the weight of the leg, it's just challenging the setup. If I don't center, if I'm not actually doing anything about it, the leg will just pull the pelvis with it and everything will arch and I lose neutral spine and pelvis. So that's why it's really an exercise for your core. There's so many in Pilates, that's why we're doing this. So just very similar to the toe taps, we use the breath and the centering and the stability and the movement all together. So I breathe into my ribcage to prepare, and I breathe out. I draw the navel in a little bit more. I use the whole exhalation to go as far as I can, whilst drawing the navel in and keeping the spine still. If at any point you find your belly is pushing out to try and help, or you find your back is actually arching, then you're going too far. So you just keep that range, and in the beginning it might be very small, and eventually it will then obviously get bigger. So breathing out, centering a bit more, breathing into the ribs, centering a bit less, just to get to the space tension that we need in tabletop in our double leg fold, double knee fold. So breathe out to lower. And into return. So focusing on what's staying still, the other leg stays still, the spine and pelvis stay still, the shoulders stay quite relaxed. So, and you might notice that I don't actually bring my toe onto the floor. I don't do the actual tap. They're called toe taps, but I don't actually tap the toe on the floor. And other teachers might teach us differently. The reason why I don't teach this with the toes actually touching the floor is that I find very often, especially if we're new to this exercise, I find once we get it, we're sort of trying to get to the floor, and then once we do, we sort of, oh, there it is, and we relax. There's this release that I can see in my students if they're not aware that they're not supposed to touch the floor. And then we sort of have to pick ourselves back up to come back. And it's much more this anticipation of the floor rather than thinking, oh, what am I actually doing here? It's really about the center. It's not about whether I can touch the floor or not. That's completely irrelevant. So instead, I ask my students to just imagine where the toe ends and the floor might start. And that actually just keeps us really switched on. It also keeps the mind engaged, and it really helps with our proprioception, developing that really helpful sense of where we are in relation to ourselves, in relation to our surroundings. So it's a lot more helpful in my world, from my point of view, and that's just how I teach it. But of course, there are different people doing different things, and that's fabulous. So we've done quite a few of these. What we then can do, just to make this a bit more challenging, as always, we add layers. So a layer would be the opposite arm. If the arm goes back, it's your ribcage closure. The arm goes back and the ribs stay in. Again, the arm is just challenging this rib-hip connection. If I don't focus on anything, the arm will just pull the shoulder back and the ribs stick out. So of course we don't want that to happen. So we reach the arm back, we keep the ribs in, really feeling this connection of the ribs to the hips. Yeah. If we then put those two together, we go opposite arm to leg. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out to lower. Breathe in to come back, breathe out to lower. Now the arm and the leg don't have to move at the same rate. So if we're new to this and the toe taps are still quite small, but the arm can comfortably move a bit further back, that's fine. But we do want to start and finish at the same time. So it's not one thing going and then the other. We breathe out, lowering, breathe in, returning, centering a bit more, and a bit less. Yeah. Fabulous for the brain, as you might notice if this is new for you, if you're following along. Quite good. Yeah. And then another layer would be to do doubles. Yeah. Double toe taps are a lot more difficult than single toe taps, and the first thing that I see go wrong with this, if there isn't any awareness around this, is that we're trying to immediately on the first go get the feet as low. So if that's my single toe tap, I might try to immediately get the toes to that same point without having the strength to actually hold that. Yeah, so the double toe tap might be much smaller. Maybe if this is my single toe tap, and then I do a double, and that might just be to here, quite literally. But really noticing that the navel draws in, that this stays still. And then after a while, if I then find, okay, I'm getting used to this, so I'm getting stronger, you know, the toes will eventually come very close to the floor, as always, not touching. And then we can, again, add the arms. Yeah, so the arms reach back. And then we turn. Yeah. And then we can create a little sequence which we put into the app sequence for April, where we go one single, and one double. And then I would try to start on the other leg first, if I keep going with these, just to even out which leg starts. Just a tiny detail there to work with. Yeah, so those are toe taps. So then a few things that I see happening if toe taps are new, which we want to avoid. Of course, we want to avoid to arch the back or let the belly push out. That's just your basic centering, your basic alignment that you know from all the other exercises. But specific to this one, is that very often we either bring the heel to the bum instead of moving the leg. So this is much easier. And if you're following along, try to do this as well. So this is actually not really moving much. We actually need to let the leg hinge in the hip to create that connection, to challenge our neutral rib hip connection. Yeah. So we really want to hinge. We don't just want to bend the knee. And same on the other side of the spectrum, we don't actually want to extend the leg away. Yeah, it's sort of like a single leg stretch, which exists, but it's a different exercise. So we're not actually, the knee stays fairly still, yeah, meaning the angle doesn't really change much. It might do a bit, we can't really see that, but that's the idea, that we really focus on the leg hinging here, and the knees don't really get involved in this, yeah. So really something to look out for, especially if these are quite new for you. Fabulous exercise, really good, just to strengthen that core. Really nice exercise to put all these things together, like the breath, the centering, the stability, the movement, and really going through all these different progressions that we can add into this quite basic Pilates exercise. So now you know how to do toe taps correctly, why we want to do them, and the progressions we can add into as we get stronger and more familiar with the exercise. Yeah, it's a really nice exercise for that core stability, making sure that the rib hip connection is staying still, staying in neutral, while the leg just challenges that setup that we then try to maintain through our centering and through our breath, through what's staying still and through what's moving. Yeah, those things always come together, and they all will come together in the end if you keep practicing. If you have any questions or if you would like me to go over any other Pilates exercise, please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share this with your friends and family. And I'll see you in the next video.